Hello and welcome to another episode of Double B's Garage. What we're working on today is my favorite car of all time, I think. The 1997 Porsche 911 Turbo, better known as the 993. They made this car for 2 years, 96 and 97, in the turbo variant. They started making them in 95 and they actually made it 98, but they didn't sell any turbos in the US, so the only ones that were available in the US in 1998 were the Carrera S and the C4S, and then obviously a narrow body, no turbos. So 97 last year, the turbo for the US. This car is kind of unique, and I'm gonna show you a little bit about the car today before we actually do what we're going to do, the big job that I can't physically do. I don't know how to do it, and I hire the experts for that. That big box over there is a new windshield. We went on a drive about 2 weeks ago, and I was going about 90 kilometers per hour, and a bird hit my windshield right in front of me. It landed right between and actually spread the windshield wipers out, blood and feathers, and then it slid right off the window and went bye-bye. Ironically, that is not what cracked my windshield. About 10 minutes later, driving down the same road, a semi-truck passed me and must have kicked up some rocks because we had some rains, and it hit the windshield right here, and it is now about a 9-inch crack on the windshield. So for the first time in almost 9 years, I filed a claim with the insurance. Luckily, I had a zero deductible for my window, and they covered it and paid it out and actually let me buy the windshield through the Porsche dealership in town, which was fantastic. So I wasn't dealing with an aftermarket glass company. These windows are very hard to change out, especially in the 993s, the 964s, the G-body cars earlier than that, and even the older cars with like the Targa windshields that were really curved in the back. Those are also very difficult. So my buddy Vince is coming today. He owns All American Glass in Fresno, California, and he literally is like the expert on older 911s, older Porsches. So he's nice enough to come out. Obviously, I'm paying him for his time, but he's an expert and a good friend of mine, and I'm glad that he's able to come out and do it. So what I wanted to do today was show you a little bit about the car. This car has Turbo S front lower air dam. It's got Gumballa side skirts. It's got the rough 18-inch wheels. These are actual rough wheels. They're not the 19s that you can get from aftermarket companies. And it's also got a Turbo S tail. And then in the front, it has some of the Turbo S inlets that take the place next to the fog light right there for brake cooling. So I had that actually bumper in the bottom lower panel repainted. It just, years and years of stone chips and getting beat up, and so I had that done. If you look, there's actually a little bit of a slight color variation here. That's because when I got the car about 9 years ago, I actually put this 3M protective bra, paint protection PPF on the car, but now it is starting to yellow just because of its age. I put new stuff on the bumper. That's obviously why it looks so good, but I will be taking this off and redoing it. So let's have a look around the car. I'm actually going to put some light in the car and show you some of the cool options. A couple really cool features about the car that I've really liked since I bought it, or obviously that I recognized or realized when I bought the car, is it actually has a factory rear seat delete. It's not as common. I mean, definitely there's some of these cars that are ordered from the factory like this, but this was ordered on the build sheet from Porsche with the factory rear seat delete. It's got little compartments in here that obviously you can use for storage. It's like 2 additional glove boxes. And then it's got these brackets that like a mesh net goes on to hold things like luggage and that sort of thing. I also have the hardback seats, which are a nice option for this car. And mine are actually, let me get the seat back here. Mine are actually heated. I haven't seen too many of the hardback sport seats that are heated. I guess this would be, well, this is up and down, back and forth. This must be for some other function that I'm forgetting right now at the moment. The other cool thing about this car is, if you'll notice on the windshield right here, and if you notice down there, look at that center console. So I've never been able to find out if this was a part of the Special Wishes or the special division of Porsche where they went and actually modified these cars. But this is actually a Blaukpunkt Travel Pilot navigation system, and this is your controller right here. This is typically what you would find in like a phone console, but if you look at the install, this looks to be like a Porsche factory item. The big computer system actually sits in the front of the spare tire, and it's in a circle, kind of built piece to fit there. It looks very factory. And then there's sensors that go on the wheels, obviously to detect your speed, and also the GPS up here to let you know where you're at. The previous owner to me actually removed that because he just didn't use it anymore. And honestly, I don't think there's actually a North American CD. I think there's only a CD that is for Europe and other maybe countries, but not the US. So I've never been able to use it. I have all the parts. I was going to actually put it back together, but just never did. I think it's one of those kind of cool features that I physically or personally have never seen on another 993. This has the hi-fi sound system, and these right here are actually wrapped in leather, and this is wrapped in leather. On a lot of these that you see, these are just plastic and they're just one piece. They're not wrapped in leather and have those rims on there like that. So here's the car. Here is in the door, that's the Nokia digital sound processing. That's the hi-fi system there that you can see. It does change the sound. It sounds pretty good. I mean, obviously for what it is, this is a 90s car. And then the hardback sport seats have the Porsche logo on the headrest. And then obviously you have another pocket over here that you can get into the back of the rear seat delete option. It's got a rough gear shift handle and lever on there. And then these 911 door sills, which somebody had put on from Tech Art, not me, but it says Porsche on the entry. These seals are actually, I mean, these are original, but just so many feet going in and out of here. The car's got about 69,000 miles on it, and those are just getting worn out. So that's something that I probably need to change at some point. But otherwise, the car is in really, really good shape. I think I've talked in separate videos before about all of the work that I did to the car, removed the motor, redid the clutch, did some upgrades to the turbos. They're still factory turbos, but the internals are now billet. That was done at Evergreen Turbo by Charlie in Florida. And then I sent the heads out to Extreme Cylinder Heads with Bill, who's also in Florida, who turned them around in a couple weeks. I think I had my heads back. I figured since I was bringing the car down to do the chain box covers, because that was the reason why I took the motor apart, because the chain box covers were leaking. I figured I might as well do a top-end rebuild at that time. Everything is off. It makes it so much easier and simpler. I replaced the power steering pump, which mine was starting to go bad, and that was $1,800. That was not cheap. But the car, I've loved it. It literally is like my favorite car. It's my poster car that I had on the wall when I was growing up. We'll come back and talk a little bit more about the car. I'll show you some of the other features, and then maybe we'll go for a drive. All right, we are done. I hope you guys liked the video. The glass is in. man, that tool that he had with that nylon rope that kind of had a motorized suction cup that went to the windshield, and you just cranked it with like a socket wrench, and it just cut all the way around. You stabbed through one section to get the line all around the windshield, and then it just cuts for you all the way around. It was so neat. We've got all the cables tucked back in. We got this front piece liner back on that kind of snaps into part of the window frame that comes from the factory, like on the glass. And the antenna hooked up, which was not the easiest thing. We had to take the hood strut off just to be able to get our hands back there, but it ended up working out fine. And then I kept the windows open all night. That stuff, that urethane is nasty stuff. I mean, it cleaned up really nice with mineral spirits, but I mean, once you put the window down, I mean, it's there. There's very little movement once it's down, but we were able to get everything done. Hope you guys like the car. I'll do more videos of the car. There's a lot of stuff on this car that I haven't really shown you yet. Things that were done both by myself and also the previous owner, and some stories behind the car. But I thought it was cool to kind of show the navigation. I think that's a really, really cool thing that I've never seen in another 993. I've seen it in like the book that shows kind of specialty division where you can kind of add things, but it's different than mine, and I don't know if mine is exactly the same as that or not. If you guys know, or if you know somebody that knows, copy this video and show them, or comment on it and tag them, because I'd really like to find out more about it. I've looked, I can't find anything. I know it's a travel pilot RG05, I believe, from Blaukpunkt. I have a manual. I have all obviously all the stuff I told you that was removed. There's a little metal box that sits in there as well. That's part of the unit, and then that piece that sits in that red spare tire that you saw. It's a big circular plastic piece. So, anyways, guys, thanks for watching. I'll try to continue to bring content when I feel it's appropriate and when I have a project or something that I think is interesting. But in the meantime, thank you very much for watching, and please click like and or subscribe if you like what you see. All right, thanks.